Late Night with the Devil, a movie that I have been itching to see, and I finally got around to watching it today. I've been very excited for this one, but did it live up to my expectations? Well, stick around, we're about to find out. Oh, there will be spoilers, and I will be talking about that shocking ending. Late Night with the Devil is this sort of found footage of a live TV show from the 70s that is discovered, and just before we watch this live broadcast, we learn a little bit of history about the TV show and its hosts, Jack Delroy and his partner Madeline. Now, Jack and Madeline had a very successful couple of years on their weekly live shows until Madeline got very, very sick and she eventually passed away from cancer. Jack continues with his live shows, but it's not long before ratings start to fall. We then fast forward to Halloween of 1977, where Jack and his whole behind the scenes team, they're planning on making an episode that will boost the ratings, and Jack will be this big famous guy again, and he'll be remembered forever. During this Halloween found footage episode that we watch, Jack brings on this psychic guy and a magician guy who is a total skeptic of psychics, and also a 13-year-old girl called Lily and her carer called June. Now, Lily is the one who brings all the carnage and all the terror to the movie because Lily claims to have the devil inside her, who she calls Mr. Wriggles. June, her carer, is able to keep Mr. Wriggles under control, but with Jack wanting this episode to be an episode that nobody ever forgets and it goes down in history, he decides that he would love to see Mr. Wriggles or the devil summoned, and as you guessed it, things do not go very well. So starting off with the positives, I really enjoyed the whole pacing of the movie. My only gripe was the first 5 minutes, but I'll get onto that in just a moment. But the pacing as a whole, with the psychic guy having his coffin fit and the magician guy just being your standard skeptic, and all of this moves the whole first half of the movie through quite organically, in my opinion. Nothing feels forced and I wasn't bored at all. Of course, the real good stuff begins when Lily arrives on stage. And the little girl playing Lily, she did a fantastic job. She was really creepy. She was very robotic, and she just had these creepy eyes the moment she stepped onto stage. It left you wondering, is she like possessed now, or is this just her being her normal? I was fixated in seeing how it was all going to go, and I was just fascinated by Lily's whole performance. I loved the whole 70s filming feel. I mentioned this when I did my trailer reaction to this movie, but it just gives you so much nostalgia when you're watching it, and the behind the scenes moments that that slipped in between, it worked really, really well in my opinion. There were some really cool, unexpected, gory scenes that made me go, wow. I was not expecting it. Specifically the scene where the magician guy, he ends up hypnotizing this guy called Gus, and then all of these worms start coming out of his body, comes out of his neck, and then he rips open his stomach, and then his eye just pops out. I loved all of that. That is my type of horror. It was very well done. It was very horrifying. It was unexpected, and it was executed really, really well. Again, it just had that 70s and 80s feel to it. I loved the whole final act, and the final 10 minutes of the movie is definitely the best part. Not that I'm saying that the rest of the movie is bad or it dragged. They do definitely save the best until those last 10 minutes, but for me, the movie didn't feel like that it was taken too long to get there, and it's worth sticking around. Now, I've watched movies in the past where it feels like that not much is happening and you're clock watching. I don't get that with this movie. As I said, the pacing was done really, really well, with a few different scares thrown in before we get to those final 10 minutes, which really are just insane. I will speak about the ending in just a moment. I just wanted to move on to some of my mixed feelings of the movie now. As I said earlier, the first 5 minutes was the only part of the movie where I'm thinking, oh, can we just fast forward this part. And I know we can't just run straight into all of the horror, but it does literally feel like that you're watching. You know, when you go to the cinema and you're watching the adverts before the movie begins, it felt a little bit like that. But when the live episode properly begins and the guests start doing their stuff, you're focused and your eyes are on that screen. Something else that kind of annoys me a little bit is that a lot of what we see in the movie was revealed in the trailer. Apart from like the worms scene and the actual physical death scenes in those final 10 minutes, a lot of it is in the trailer, and I kind of wish it wasn't. The moment where June is summoning Mr. Wriggles, the devil, and Lily's face changes, I was expecting to see more from that scene, and you know, more of what we saw from the trailer, but we didn't really get much more. She floated around in a chair for a little bit and she shouted a load of abuse, but that was pretty much it. So I just wish that they kept a little bit of those moments out of the trailer. I don't really have any strong negatives for this movie. It was mainly positive and just a few little mixed gripes on my part, but the magician guy I did find a little bit annoying throughout the movie when he kept interrupting, and I wasn't sad to see him die. And talking of dying, let's talk about those final 10 minutes and the ending. Warning, massive spoilers ahead. So after the whole worms hypnotizing moment, it isn't very long before everything goes crazy and Lily becomes fully possessed and all of this electricity flies through her body and through the studio. Her head splits in half. Her carer June, her throat is sliced open. Gus, he has his head completely twisted around, and then the magician guy is pretty much burnt alive and pretty much turns into a little Freddy Krueger. Everyone who was on the stage during this moment is killed, apart from Jack. After this crazy scene happening, we are then thrown into a very strange final few moments. The viewer, us, are really unsure of what is going on and what's real, because we follow Jack in this sort of trance, dream-like state in different scenarios. He drinks this wine at one point, or maybe it's blood out of a cup, I'm not sure, but he's definitely at some ritual. He then meets his dead wife, who's currently in bed dying of cancer, even though she died a little while back. But the final twist at the very end of this movie is that his dying wife in bed begs him to kill her. So Jack picks up this dagger and stabs it into his wife's stomach, before realizing that what he's just done is stabbed the little girl Lily and he's killed her on the stage. Jack then somehow just wakes up in a panic at what he's done, surrounded by all of the dead bodies, and then we hear sirens approaching the studio in the background, and then the footage ends, leaving everything up in the air for our imagination of what the hell just happened and what happened next. Now, it's worth mentioning that at the start of the movie, when we are learning about Jack's life, it's mentioned that there were these rumors of Jack participating in super secret dark meetings and rituals, and it was after these rumors in the press when his wife became ill. So, did Jack make a sacrifice with the devil to become famous? Maybe he never completed his sacrifice, and with Jack wanting to be this huge famous guy on this 1977 Halloween night, the devil granted him this wish, but instead of being remembered for, an incredible guy, an incredible TV show, he is remembered as a guy who was involved in a massacre. There's actually so many different ways the ending of this movie could be interpreted, and when the movie did end, I could not stop thinking about this ending. I was constantly trying to work out if there was some sort of special twisted meaning, and I think it could mean a million and one things. I really wanted to know what happened next. What happened to Jack? Did he go to jail? Did he get blamed for all of the killings on that stage? Or, was his wife's spirit as well? Because she kept popping up, his spirit throughout the movie. Was she trying to warn Jack for what was about to happen? It's so very interesting, very intriguing, and the more I think about it, the more eerie it becomes. This is definitely a movie that I think I'm gonna have to rewatch once again, because I am sure there's gonna be subtle clues and subtle moments and meanings in this movie of how it all comes together in a way when it ends, yeah, I need to rewatch this movie. Were we all being fooled when the magician guy used his hypnosis on everyone? Did Lily take over the hypnosis moment without anybody realizing? So many questions, and I love it. There's so much mystery around this whole film. I can really see people talking about this movie for a very long time. Something else that I did love about the scene when the devil goes crazy with Lily's body and kills everyone is that it made me think of Carrie, when Carrie loses her shit and then she kills everyone doing prom night. I mean, the kill count isn't quite as high as Carrie's, but it was just so much nostalgia, and it was very satisfying to watch. So all in all, this was a very, very good movie. I had a really good time with it. I didn't find it as scary as I was hoping to be, but that doesn't matter. I think the way the movie makes you continue to think about it after the credits roll, that's good enough for me. I am really looking forward to watching this movie again, and I will definitely be adding this one to my Blu-ray collection. I am going to rate Late Night with the Devil a solid 8 out of 10. But now I really, really want to hear all of your thoughts. What did you guys think of this movie? Please give me your ideas of what you think the ending really meant. If you have any theories, let me know, guys. Okay then, guys, thank you all for watching today's video. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, stay safe out there, and I will see you all again very, very soon.